Part 1. The beginning. It started quietly, the way most things in life do. A glance here, a smile there. I hadn't meant for it to go beyond that, but somehow it did. I had everything I ever wanted. A loving husband, 2 beautiful children, a home filled with laughter. I was content, or at least I told myself I was. But somewhere between the chaos of motherhood and the rhythm of married life, I found myself starved for something else. Not for affection. I still received that in abundance, but something deeper, something I couldn't put into words until I met him. It wasn't his charm that drew me in, nor his words, though they were kind. It was the way he made me feel. Alive. Seen. For a long time, I had been invisible to myself, wrapped in the roles I played. Mother, wife, caretaker. But in those fleeting moments, I was someone else, someone whole. We didn't speak of it openly, but there were moments. Glances exchanged that lingered just a little too long, conversations that drifted into silence, but said everything we needed. I told myself it didn't mean anything. I was just hungry for something I didn't know how to ask for at home. But the line kept blurring, and I couldn't stop myself from crossing it. The guilt came later, like a dark cloud that followed me, hanging over every smile I shared with my children, every conversation I had with my husband. But what haunted me the most was how easily I could bury it beneath the day-to-day, how easily I could push the guilt aside when it became too much. Part 2. The ruin. I remember one evening. Everything was still. The children had gone to bed, and my husband was caught up in his work. I sat on the couch, the quiet too loud, and the emptiness in the room too vast. It was in that silence that the truth settled in my heart. I had betrayed everything I had built. What followed was a series of small, almost imperceptible decisions that led me to the moment where I couldn't turn back. When the truth finally came out, when my husband's eyes filled with pain, I was no longer the woman he had once married. I was a stranger to him, a stranger to myself. And my children, too young to understand fully, only saw the cracks in their world. The silence stretched between us, heavier than words could ever be. My husband sat across from me, his face unreadable, his hands clenched into fists. The weight of my confession hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Why? His voice was quiet, but the pain in it cut through me. I had rehearsed answers in my head 1,000 times. I could say I felt lost, that I didn't mean for it to happen, that I still loved him. But none of it seemed enough. Nothing could undo what I had done. I don't know, I whispered, the truth bitter on my tongue. I was searching for something, but I never wanted to hurt you. A humorless laugh escaped him. You didn't want to hurt me, but you did it anyway? I flinched. There was no defense against the truth. Part 3. The distance. Days turned into weeks, and the silence between us became unbearable. We lived under the same roof, but we were nothing more than ghosts passing in the night. The children sensed the tension, their laughter quieter, their eyes filled with confusion. I wished I could take back everything, undo the damage, but time only moved forward, never back. He avoided me, staying late at work, sleeping on the couch. I wanted to reach out, to beg for another chance, but every time I tried, the words got stuck in my throat. He was slipping away, and I didn't know how to stop it. One night, I walked past the living room and saw him sitting in the dim light, staring at nothing. He looked lost. I took a step toward him, but he turned away before I could speak. I realized then that the man I loved was gone, replaced by someone broken, someone I had shattered. I started leaving small notes on the kitchen counter, hoping he would read them. Apologies, confessions, desperate pleas for him to talk to me. But each morning, they were untouched, discarded like meaningless scraps of paper. The weight of my mistake grew heavier with each passing day. Part 4. The breaking point. The tension reached its peak when, one evening, he finally spoke. I can't do this anymore, he said, his voice heavy with exhaustion. My heart clenched. What do you mean? This pretending, living like strangers. It's destroying me. Tears welled in my eyes. I don't want to lose you. He looked at me, and for the first time in weeks, I saw raw emotion in his eyes. You already did. The words hit like a blow. I had been clinging to the hope that we could fix this, that love could somehow erase the betrayal. But love wasn't enough. Not anymore. Days later, he packed a bag. The children cried, asking where he was going, but he didn't have the words to explain. I watched him walk out the door. Knowing this was the moment everything truly changed. The house became a hollow shell of what it once was. The absence of his presence was louder than any argument we had ever had. Nights were the worst. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of my actions pressing down on me. Part 5. The End. A few months later, he moved into a small apartment. We agreed to raise our children together, but we couldn't live under the same roof. The house felt emptier than ever. The laughter of my children no longer filled the spaces the way it used to. They asked about their father constantly, and I tried my best to reassure them, but I knew they saw through my lies. Loneliness became my companion. I tried to busy myself with routines, with distractions, but nothing could dull the ache. Friends drifted away, unsure of what to say to me. Even my own reflection in the mirror felt unfamiliar, like I was looking at a stranger who had made choices I couldn't comprehend. I spent nights awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every choice that led me here. Somewhere deep inside, a part of me still hoped that one day he would forgive me. But I knew that day might never come. I had betrayed him. I had betrayed our family. And now I had to live with that. But maybe someday I would learn to forgive myself.